Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. My name is Lunar C, host of the show. I feel like crap. Combination of a few things. The main thing being I have a new protein mix. Or it's not a new one, I've had it before. It just makes you feel sick. It's like powdery, chalky shit. For those who want to avoid it, I think it's like blue and white, the packaging. So Charlie in the house, how are we doing, sir? Yeah, so I'd just avoid that if I were you. Yeah. And it's cold, and then hot, and then cold again. So anyways, you don't care about any of that, do you? You don't care about any of that. What are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about... Sorry, let me just do that, so that's better. We're here to talk about two people who... Does it, Charlie? No, it doesn't. I've had plenty of protein mixes in my time, and I can assure you this one is dog shit. Anyways, we're here to talk about two people who have made their own legacies and forged their own paths in UK battle rap and indeed music as it goes. Both of them have had very successful music careers. However, a question has loomed large over UK battle rap for over 10 years at this point. Can you believe that? Over 10 years since someone first asked, hey, do you know who should battle? Lunar C and Shotty Horroh. You should probably get those two to battle each other at some point. It might be quite good. And of course, that conversation turned from a sort of, off the hand kind of, it'd be nice if it happened, to rampant fan demand, to nowadays it's a fucking meme. It's what you ask when you want to antagonize one of them in some small ways. So when are you battling Shotty? When are you battling Luna? And you get the same sort of... Even the fans have an apathy towards it these days. And what I wanted to do, because I was sitting at work today, and I don't know what prompted it. I was just like, do you know what? I don't know if I've ever seen anyone explore the topic. I have some evidence to present you with first and foremost with regards to the discourse with it, coming directly from Shotty and Luna themselves, okay? Because what I wanted to do, I wanted to kind of approach this with some modicum of not journalism, but certainly I want to structure this a little bit. So hopefully by the end of this live stream, we'll have asked and answered the questions that kind of matter to UK battle rap fans when it concerns the topic of Lunar C versus Shotty Horroh. So first questions first. Had a Shrooms in the house. How are we doing, sir? So the first question is, who are Shotty Horroh and Lunar C? Well, Shotty Horroh is a Mancunian. He is a musician and battle rapper and has been for well over 10 years. He is a very successful musician in his own right. He's also an actor, having starred in Versus and a few other projects. He's just generally a very successful person inside and outside of battle rap. He also owns a professional wrestling organization named Sovereign Pro Wrestling. He also owns or co-owns Premier Battles, which is one of the leading UK battle rap organizations working in the UK right now. So, pretty big deal in terms of the scope of a promotional standpoint and indeed as an artist and performer. He has a rampant fan base and is arguably one of, if not the most popular battle rapper the UK has ever produced. On the flip side, you have the other argument for that, which is Lunar C. Lunar C is a Bradford-based musician, comedian, writer, artist, and battle rapper. Again, successful musician in his own right. He's done innumerable tours. He is supported and performed alongside some of the biggest artists, as has Shotty Horroh, by the way. And again, has carved a very nice niche out for himself in terms of his status as a performer. Why are they a big deal in UK battle rap and battle rap in general? Well, in 2013 and 2014, when Don't Flop was really starting to pick up steam in the UK, two people really started to contribute towards the virality of UK battle rap. One of them was Shotty Horroh, thanks in large part due to his, again, music presence, but then also sparked by a battle with an American by the name of Arsenal, and Lunar C, who in his own right became viral because of a certain style that was emulated by a lot of the other MCs that were around at the time. One might argue that his his Ascent and Shotty's are very different. There's been a lot of comparisons made about them in terms of who they are and what their performing style is and what they bring to the table. However, I would argue that their respective journeys are actually quite different. If you look at Shotty's, Shotty has been battling for longer and has battled more. Whereas Lunar C, I've done the legwork on this because I'm doing a retrospective on Lunar C's career come this Saturday. He's done 10 battles in his entire career. Like, that's kind of insane. That and again, the reason why these two in particular are worth noting is because both of them are two of the only battlers to ever surpass 1 million views on regular videos. Like, there's no doubt that these two are the two most successful and most popular battle rappers the UK has ever produced in terms of sheer numbers and sheer fame. Now, why did everyone want them to battle? Well, it seems obvious, doesn't it? You have The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin of fucking battle rap. You book a fucking Mania with that shit, dude. You book a lead up, a card to that shit. Hang on, just 1 second. Sorry, my headphone cable was plugged in to where it's going around. Anyways, you book a card around that. You get them both on a card at some point, and ideally, you make a fucking event out of that shit that sells all the tickets and gets all the pay-per-view, and that you monetize going forward. And yeah, it seems like, come on, lads. We've got two guys here that are pulling in more numbers and sell more tickets and ideally more merchandise, because both of them, again, successful musicians, so they both have very strong brands outside of battle rap that they can glomp onto with Don't Flop, and vice versa, co-promote. Seems very mutual situation, doesn't it? Well, this conversation and talk started, like I said, in 2014 and 2015, and oh God, does the rampant and unerring march of time seem fucking depressing now, because we are 10 years later and still no Shotty Horroh and Lunar C battle. The only thing I've ever seen that's even come close to it that's been referenced directly was Marlo and Shuffle T against Marv 1 and Quest, which is Marlo had a bar at the end of one of his schemes where he's like, but guys, the SD card you stole had the secret Lunar Shotty battle, and everyone in the crowd went mental. And Marlo, meta as he is, turned to the camera and went, comment, as if to say, lads, you're going to need to really push this one to get it over the line. And so here we are today. I wanted to explore that. So before we move any further, I want to just sort of say, listen, I'm not the first fucking person to broach this, obviously. There have been other attempts at broaching this very same subject over the years. And I wanted to play that for you first, because then we've got at least a layer of context here. So I'm going to swap screens for a second. Hopefully you can still, yeah, you can still hear me. That's lovely. And then let's also make sure the background music isn't too loud. Lovely. And also, I hope you'll appreciate, look at how much effort I'm going through to these days. I try to make every live stream unique and interesting by designing all this shit. It doesn't just come out of a box. I work hard on this shit, I promise you. Anyways, first and foremost, I have 4 clips for you. And they are over a succession of periods of time from 2015 all the way to 2024, okay? So this is not just a smattering into the mix. I'm trying to cover the entire period here, but there's 4. The first video of which is from a channel called Rap Grind. This took place on the 17th of September 2015, and this is an interview directly with Shotty Horroh, an excerpt from that interview where he is asked point blank what's happening with the Lunar C battle. And again, this is right around the time where the mania of it is fucking hitting, ladies and gentlemen, where people are desperate to see what the fuck is going to happen. This is what Shotty had to say.
Shotty versus Lunar C. What's up with that, man?
God damn it, my production! Sorry, hang on. I don't want to hear it through my speakers. I want to hear it through my headphones.
That's the battle that would international.
Anyways, sorry, Shotty, you were saying. My apologies.
Shotty versus Lunar C. What's up with that, man? That's like, I think that's the battle that would internationally make everybody watch and be like, what the fuck is going on? Why does this battle have 800 million views?
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the possibility again not to go there?
I just don't think that'll ever happen, to be honest. The fans want to see it so much. I'd be up for it. Maybe one day, when Lunar's situation is right for that or whatever, maybe he'll do it. But like, I respect his decision. Like, I tried to troll him and goad him out to do a few things, and that's just the sport in it. But he's a cool guy. Like, great MC, great battler, huge respect for him. So I'd love to battle Lunar C because I just think it would literally be like blow for blow. Like, he's a great MC, man. So I think, and especially like, I think that's the who's the best. That's the crown for England. That's like, as far as the fans go, like people have the arguments about Soul, who's one of the greatest, and Tony and stuff like that. But I really think the fans took to me and Lunar for kind of similar reasons, a lot of similarities and shit. And so it'd be a great battle, definitely stylistically.
You think that would be one of the best battles in history?
I think it'd be one of the most viewed and the most opinionated. Like, people have the most opinion on it. I think the styles are good because you're gonna have the humor of Lunar. I'm kind of humorous as well, but I'm very serious with it, breaking people down and stuff. But he has that in his arsenal as well, no pun intended. But it's definitely something that I am totally up for doing. I just think it would be smarter for me and Lunar to just put the event on ourselves, though. Like, the amount of money that would be involved in something like that.
I'm just going to pause it because there's a couple of things I want to touch on while we're talking. So, first and foremost, by the way, welcome to everyone who's joining me right now. Welcome to Hadashrooms, welcome to Charlie, welcome to David, my friend. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it, as always. Right, so, and in fact, I'm just going to move this just a long, tiny bit. That's better. Sorry, I don't want Shotty Horroh looking like he's mid-orgasm while I'm talking. It's, you know, I'm giving off the wrong vibe. Pause and all that battle rap shit. So, what you've heard there is, broadly speaking, a admission from him that he was trying to make it happen. There was a push at one point to say, hey, listen, let's fucking do this. Let's do it. But it sounds like maybe everything that was being proposed wasn't through the current channels. Now, what you'll see since is obviously that there's been a schism of sorts between how Shotty has progressed and how Lunar has progressed. Shotty Horroh has all but abandoned any pretense of performing for fucking anybody else under any circumstances. He is his own man. He owns his own promotions. He books his own shit, and he does what he wants to do. Lunar, on the other hand, is still performing for Don't Flop. Or at least he's performed for other promotions. It's GTX rap battles and Don't Flop. And he's kind of still singularly focused on his music, which means that he's, too, not really in the position to be dictated to in terms of how he performs and when he performs. And the fact that Shotty is even, at the end of that kind of confessed, like, listen, man, just on a monetary basis, there's no reason why we need to cut this up. Like, if me and Lunar can work this out and put it on, like, why would we involve anyone in that? This is potentially the most lucrative battle rap event that the UK has ever produced. Why would we give that away to someone when, again, not being funny, they're both unique performers in the sense that they're both very successful musicians and artists. So it's just interesting that that's how they put it. But you've also heard him say kind of not disparaging the matchup in the sense of, like, I think one of the things that you would want to see in this situation is them kind of like, yeah, it would be amazing, but because I'm so I would kill it. I would be amazing. And then the other guy doing the same. What you've seen here is him kind of saying, you know, it'd be good. You know, he's really fun. But then again, I'm really funny, you know, and I'm really hard with it. He's hard with it too, I suppose. Like, there's a diplomacy being employed here. It's just interesting to observe. So let's let Shotty finish.
No disrespect to no league or nothing, but like, we could really cash out on that and then sell the footage. Lunar, if you're watching, hit us up, rap grid, talk to us. We can do it. Yeah.
So there you go, and that's how he signs off. Is like, hey man, Quill, what are you doing here, man? Like, is it not enough? Is it not enough? You've set me an impossible task of getting another 102 subscribers before you'll come back on. Now you got to come here and denigrate my content. Look at what I'm trying to do here, man. I'm working here, okay? Arsenal won 7-1 yesterday. Be happy, motherfucker. Come on now. Also, all right. So I'll read his comment, even though Quill, you're killing me here, brother. You're killing me here. Shotty catches a body 3-0. It's two different levels. How is this a video in 2025? It's an opinion. It's an opinion. Also, you can play Shotty Horror Therapy. He disses Lunar towards the end, sticking in theme with your video. You can play Shotty Horror Therapy. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't have any of their music. I have some of their music videos for a pip in a minute when I'm talking generally after we've done the after I've done setting the table. Anyway, and what I will say to Quill is, here's the thing. I kind of agree with Quill in the sense of how is this a conversation in 2025? But it is, as I'll evidence later on when they're still being asked about it. And I agree. Like, there are battles that I want to see before this. I'm just saying, though, that I've never seen anyone just sit down and actually fucking air it all out. So I want to do that, Quill. So anyways, it's nice for you to join us, by the way. You bastard. Anyways, right. What are we doing? Right, we're moving on to the next video, which is, if you bear with me. So the next video was for Mad Dog TV on the 9th of August 2016, and this was an interview with Lunar C, and he is asked about Shotty Horroh.
So what's going on with the battling, man? Obviously everyone's been mentioning there's only one name. You know before I've even said it, the name.
Yeah, to be honest, man, that's like, it's been that. You talk about Shotty.
McCoy in the house.
Yeah, Shotty. The Shotty one's been like, to be honest, if I was to battle Shotty, I'd have to be in the state of mind of coming back and staying as a battler, or at least like putting my main focus into it at the moment, at least for that battle. I'm just not really. I know this is going to maybe sound cock, but I literally don't even have the time right now, just because a few things popping off in my music. I'm trying to focus on that. But yeah, like I can see the positives that could come out of that. But the other side of that is me and Shotty are both like. The thing about Shotty is, as much as he's a sick battler, he's a sick musician too. So me and him are definitely in talks about something that we can work on. We got no trouble with each other. I've never had any problems. I've never had any trouble. I've said anything about him or anyone else who got flopped. So everything's still love. Like I actually spoke to him the other day. So yeah, we got Shotty, man. You might see something from us.
Yeah.
Fantastic camera work by there. Whoever filmed that, by the way, to fucking capture the background in crisp 4K fucking color definitional quality. Lunar, on the other hand, looked like he was being filmed through a fucking stained glass window. So yeah, fantastic work. The sound I'm not going to get mad about. But again, how fucking mirror image was that? Like, effectively paying the same homage to Shotty as he did to him. And yet, how weird is that when you know what the demand is from the audience? You know that there's not a red blood. This is in 2015 and 16. There is not a red-blooded fucking battle rap fan that isn't fucking desperate to see that battle. That isn't immediately going to put money down. I don't give a fuck if it's just them on a card. I don't give a fuck if you host it in fucking Antarctica. I'll book the fucking plane tickets and I'll get there. And yet there seems to be, on both sides, at least some degree of apathy, which is weird because, again, if I'll pose this to Quill. If Quill right now knew that there was one opponent that every battle rap fan is desperate for him to battle, even if he personally feels some apathy towards it, I would wager that based on exposure, the money, the opportunity, the ability to set a legacy, especially if he thinks the opponent's beatable, you don't go, yeah, but I'm going to go do something else. If it is the case that you are actually interested in doing it. And I think, but now Cooper's trolling in the comments. Dojo beats Quill 2-1. Quill, you heard it here first. Dojo's going to, he's going to beat you. However, just be aware, battlers in the comments are Quill, McCoy, Cooper. Just know that Gasbuff is killing all of your favorites. Some of you three are my favorites. If Gas kills you, I'm really sorry about that. I mean, Gas seems like a really nice guy, but apparently he's going to go around killing people very soon. So Quill's actually one of my favorite battlers, even though Quill has made it his fucking mission in life to troll me every live stream that he gets an opportunity when Arsenal aren't playing. Quill's still one of my favorite battlers and one that I think that Lunar or Shotty should have battled by now. But that's a conversation for another time. Anyways, so Cooper's in the chat. Hello, Cooper. How are you doing, sir? Right, so what was I saying? Right, so as I was saying, there's a mirror image of the two. These two, even though, again, they are portrayed in similar fashions, the rhetoric that's coming out is, again, very similar. However, we fast forward a little bit now to the Premier Battles live stream on the 21st of October 2020, hosted by Briggsy and Shotty. This is right at the beginning of the stream. a comment was made.
For those who have been watching and seeing what Luna was saying and seeing what I was saying on Twitter, yes, there is a song with me, Lunar C, and Tony D, and yes, we are leaking that shit today. We are leaking that shit today. Make some noise, motherfuckers. Make some noise, even in your houses, make some noise. Bobby D approves.
So they're working on a track together. There you go. So it's not like these two aren't in conversations with each other on a decent to semi-recurring basis enough to do a track together. And yet the conversation of battling each other has never come up. Interesting. Oh, and David's now... David's like, hey, by the way, I'm a battler cheeky fucker. He is. He is. So, David, I owe you an apology. When I said that battlers such as Quill, McCoy, Cooper, I should have also said... And of course, David as well. He's killing you all. He's killing you all. Anyways, and the tune is called Oil Painting in Its Fire. There you go. There you go. And apparently, according to McCoy, Luna was supposed to battle on Prem not too long ago. Who is he supposed to battle, McCoy? Do you know? Or is it just sort of touted that he was going to appear? Because obviously he went to Don't Flop Checkpoint 5. He said he wasn't done. He said he was contemplating being done, but it sounded like the door was still very much open. Anyways, back to the point. So they're collaborating. They're in conversations with each other. And again, the idea of it doesn't seem to be at the forefront of their minds. It is in the fans. And that's permeated by the fact that we fast forward again 4 years to the 27th of May, 2024, when I interviewed Lunar C. Okay, I didn't actually ask about the Shotty Horroh thing because I thought it was just... Again, I am in kind of Quill's camp in the sense of I just thought we're so far past the fucking looking glass on this now, lads. What's the point in asking him a question that could very well just antagonise him with the eye roll of fucking hell, not again? Cammy had no compunctions though because of the way he framed it. He framed it as, listen, I've got to ask you for the memes. I've got to ask you for the memes. And so he did. And let's see what he has to say.
2025, let's say, what is the likelihood of you and Shotty Horroh battling? Just for the meme, what's the likelihood?
It is fucked, man. For the meme, Shotty is definitely very high on that list of if I would have to be active before I did that, man. And
so, like, if they offered that to you, what number what's the likelihood of you taking it?
Right now, not very likely.
This is a complete caveat and side. I'm just going off a tangent. My boy Cammy, if you ever watch this, my brother in Christ, you need to do me a favor. Let your guests breathe a little when they're answering a question of yours. I know it's a podcast environment, and in podcasts, there's sometimes talking over. I'm just letting you know, as a listener, there's nothing worse than when two people talk over each other, and now I can't hear what's being said. Okay, you need to let your guests talk, let it breathe, or, and this is what I'm saying, so you don't lose what makes you good at your interviews and your podcasts. You need to find a way of interjecting a little bit more cleanly, just so you don't ruin the flow. But anyways, the reason I'm saying it is because that's going to happen a few times in this conversation, and Luna's just trying to get something out, especially a question like this, where it's like he's going to have to be very delicate in terms of sticking the landing on the answer. Anyways, as we were saying.
Okay. So,
yeah,
so
and I am very
much.
It's hard for me to think past this.
Madness battle and stuff.
Well, not even that, like just the vibe I'm going for and the lane and those names I mentioned.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do in that lane where I feel is where I would thrive. I think that is kind of better for me than doing those kind of battles. And obviously that's not saying that the Shotty battle wouldn't be massive, but also the Shotty battle is almost
It's kind of past its date, but I bring it up as a meme because it's like...
Yeah, you have to ask, man. Or someone else, yeah.
But it is past its date, but I still think of it...
And that's the nub of the issue here. I think... This is me speaking outside of my own opinion now, okay? Because I agree with the sentiment, i.e. that it's... Look, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather happened at least 3 years too late. Taker retired fucking 10 years too late. You know, it should have been Brock. And that's that, right? Sometimes things happen just because we want to see them happen, even though the circumstances dictate it's done. And we'll come on to when this should have happened in a moment. But here's the thing. I don't buy when Cammy and others say, oh, yeah, of course, it's passe. You know, it's ridiculous. It can happen now. But, you know, I mean, if it did, and it's like, no, what you really mean is you don't want to appear to be someone that's hanging on to something that you shouldn't be anymore. Like, it had its moment. And because you never got it, you feel like it's supposed to, like, it's sort of antithetical to the thing you're trying to accomplish, because by kicking the fucking can down the road some more, you're antagonizing the players in the situation. Anyways, I only need to point that out because I don't buy the former of that statement. I buy everything that he's about to say in terms of his desire and the fans' desire to see it, because that's the age we live in, right? We live in an age of nostalgia, and we live in an age of, hey, Mike Tyson's fighting again. Did you see anyone that give a shit about the fact that, hey, he's really old now and he nearly died a few months before he fought that twat, but all of you still tuned in to fucking watch it, didn't you? So, anyways, moving on. Sorry.
We're closer to getting that battle now between yourself and Shotty than we ever have been, so I had to ask the question specifically on its own.
No, and it's not completely off the cards forever, bro, but
yeah.
I personally don't see... I mean, hype-wise, yeah, if the flyer came out tomorrow and it said Lunar C versus Shotty, I'm sure that it would pop off and go...
I'm just going to point out, do you really... and this is not me ragging on Luna, by the way, because that's the last thing I want to do. I've antagonized enough people in my time, and I actually really... Luna's actually... It's so weird how mine and Luna's relationship began in terms of just, fuck you, and then suddenly it's like, did we just become friends? I think we did. So weird. And he's been such a fucking top lad since. Just a really, really nice guy whenever we've had conversations. Do you really think it's just a leaflet that's going out? You really think it's just a... Dude, if Prem or Don't Flop or even just them on a one-off thing without involving a league decided to do this, there's no fucking way that that's not a promo that someone takes a couple of days out of their time to go down there and film the mother of all battle rap promos for that shit, but in 3D high definition 4D fucking format, dude. There's no way just a flyer gets, oh, by the way, Shotty and Luna are battling. Like, no, it's tune in on Friday for a promo. You'll want to tune in. And fucking everyone's like, what's this talking about? What is it? And John, the fucking shadows come and their faces turn and it's like, that's what happens there. I'm just pointing that out, Luna. Like, the hype would be real. That's for damn sure.
Crazy, but in reality, the actual battle...
It's a style clash that I don't know how...
See, I really hate that Cammy interrupted him there. He was on the cusp of saying something that he really wanted to say, and Cammy's kind of giving him an out there, and I'm...
Depending on how Madness goes and how these other battles, like before a style clash, that we want Shotty Horroh to do the aggressive shit.
Yeah, and obviously Shotty's not a one-dimensional battler either. He can lean into different. He can do some funny shit, and we can. But I'm not saying our styles are a million miles apart. It's just the other thing is as well, man. It's just been overhyped for so long, where it's difficult to imagine it not being an anticlimax to me.
Okay, so that's all the evidence that I have, and that last point is where I completely agree with Luna, in the sense of how the fuck do you book Shotty Horroh and Lunar C 10 years after someone started hyping it? And no one's fucking... sorry, I'm just fiddling around with my pip. There you go. Because now you got something in the background to watch while I'm fucking yammering away. And it's a nice distraction too. Look, it's Lunar C battling, because it's what we're talking about. Anyways, what was I saying? Right, so 10 years after someone started hyping it. 10 fucking years. How in the hell do you stick the landing of it and it not be a damp squib of an event? It's a very, very fucking good question. It doesn't stop people asking it. So, before we move on, I want to make sure I'm covering all the comments. McCoy is active as fuck in there. So he was supposed to be battling Funky D, cool. And then Shotty's just battled Shuffle. Well, I wouldn't say he just battled him. He battled him 2 years ago, nearly now. Was booked. I thought he is still booked for K. Is he not? But Shotty has a battle booked, does he not? Against an American? I remember seeing it. I don't remember the name, unfortunately. I haven't been paying that close of attention to battles outside of Prem on the lower end of the scale because I've been focusing a lot of my attention on the up-and-comers because that's where I like to put my focus, on the guys that could use the shine. Luna just battled Marv 1. That was back in 2000 and... That was back in 2023, so that's over a year and a bit ago now. He last battled Madness. But the battle still makes sense according to McCoy. Well, look. This is where we now start thinking about, right, why hasn't it happened so far? That's the first question we got to ask ourselves. Why did it not happen back in the day? That guy in the middle there, why the fuck didn't he make it happen? Why couldn't he make it happen? It sounds like from both parties there was just no need to engage in a activity that would, in all inevitability, lower the stock of at least one of them. Like, how many battles do you see guys going in and both of their stocks rising, really? The only one I can think of off the top of my head that really did both guys no disservice and ended up enhancing not only them but the promotion was Bizzobon and Tony D. Like, that's a battle that's like, holy shit, like, wow, like, that has done everyone just the world of good. And that doesn't happen very often in battle rap because battle rap is it's a competitive endeavor. One man must lose and another man must win, or lady. So why would either one of these guys, with the reputations that they garnered and the following that they sort of, cultivated, given the fact that both of them are they're both branded as winners. They're both branding themselves as the best of the best, the pinnacle of their respective art forms. Why would either one of them want to fucking denigrate that? It makes literally no sense from a branding perspective. From a competitive standpoint, it doesn't sound like either one of them really fancied the other in terms of their technical ability, in terms of, well, they'll give me a battle that's different or unique, or it's a unique challenge, or it presents a unique set of circumstances. Both of them seem to be reasonably understanding of the other in terms of what they're capable of and what challenge they present, which isn't exactly something that's all that enticing to two guys who, again, both of them do kind of what they want to do. Both of them kind of love shirking expectation. You can see that evidence throughout both of their careers, both in terms of battle rap and indeed their music careers, more probably nominally their music careers. Obviously, Shotty Horroh has gone on a number of different tangents of genres in terms of his music. Lunar C releases music as and whenever the fuck he likes, talking about as and whatever the fuck he likes. So these two guys are never going to be hemmed in by something as fickle as audience anticipation and expectation. But that notwithstanding, if they'd have gotten their heads together, figured it out, gotten the fee and all the rest of that sort of stuff, when should it have taken place? Well, probably right before the great schism of the Don't Flop era, thanks to our good friend, over at Don't Flop. I'm going to remain political for a second. The great schism of 2016-2017, because that's when they both would have been in the same promotion, managed and sort of moderated to a certain degree by a promoter, by a third party. Not a disinterested third party, mind you, but someone that's able to sort of say, right, we need to have some degree of fairness here when we're judging, when we're promoting, when we're kind of setting it up and making sure that everyone's negotiated properly. Not necessarily going to happen now because, of course, Shotty's relationship with and Don't Flop is now not great. And Lunar C's battled on Don't Flop, but hasn't yet battled for Premier Battles. One wonders what that would do to the relationship that Lunar C has with Don't Flop and if he were to make that jump. Who knows? Maybe can see past it. Maybe would see that as betrayal. I don't know. I've never spoken to the man. All I can say is that there seems to be loyalty at play there too. And we move on to the third question. Why it can't happen ever? Or why can't it ever happen now? Well, mainly apathy, that same apathy from both parties. This notion that time's passed, and even if it did happen, what can you do? I mean, like, really, who is all that fussed about it when you really boil it down to? And that seems to be the main reason at the moment. The main reason that it's still not happening is this sort of tugging of the apathy of the guys and the hunger of the fandom. And I want to skip ahead to, because I've structured these questions in a weird order, but the order I wanted to ask it, the most pertinent question I wanted to ask is why it should happen. Why should two guys who have prided themselves on largely flawless careers and marketing themselves as being the pinnacle of their chosen vocations ever consider battling each other, let alone 10 years down the road from when it would have most likely been the most lucrative moment to make that decision? Well, I have a couple of reasons that I'd like to put forward for you. Not that I believe it should be, but I want to add something to this conversation rather than just fucking detracting or sitting here, you know, smugly saying, oh, yeah, it's stupid. Why should anyone who likes this idea fucking like this idea? And I want to hear your comments, by the way. McCoy's still chiming in, loving it. I want to hear people's thoughts on this, so please. And by the way, if you don't get a chance to see this live and you see this after the fact and you've just thought I've talked bollocks for the last half an hour, 45 minutes, fine. But by all means, leave your comments as to what everything I've said and the questions I posed, because I'm genuinely interested to hear what the discourse on this at this moment in time. Because having heard both of them talk, I'm not convinced it can't happen so long as certain criteria are met. And I think the number one criteria that has to be met is that you do not book it like with 2 months to go or even a month to go or 3 months, whatever. This is a year-end event, or at least you give it enough time to sort of basically build a fucking roadmap to that event. You have them making appearances at events up until that point. You have them doing promos and talking to it. You have the hype for it built on the now, rather than the yearning of the nostalgia of the bout when it was originally proposed, and again, in this era when Shotty was tearing it up and Lunar was tearing it up on Don't Flop. You have to recontextualize the battle to now by capitalizing on the nostalgia of it from 2015, 16, 17, whenever it would have been its most lucrative, but also then presenting it in a way that makes sense to a current landscape of battle rap. How do you do that? You don't have them fucking battle anyone between now and then, by the way. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, because Lunar mentioned it there where he's like, I kind of have to be in the battle rap mode. I hope by that he doesn't mean he's fucking taking battles against fucking anybody. We cannot have him battling anybody at that point. He is a fucking main event, A-side draw on a card that has to be marketed towards for in ideally 6 months. If not longer. This is the sort of thing that you really lean into the build, and you build a program around leading up to the event to really make sure that the interest is maximized, harnessed, and directed in the right way. But the reason I say to do this, number two, isn't just to satiate an audience. Because that's why I'm pitching this, is because every motherfucker who asked that question, so David saying you're talking about a Road to WrestleMania type journey, but of the story length of Sting and Hogan. I love the wrestling analogy. Kind of. Yes, kind of. Here's the thing. The only other example, again, that I can think of in terms of that makes sense in terms of the analogy to this is Mayweather fucking Pacquiao, right? It's the only thing that comes close in my mind to a comparison in terms of battle rap to boxing, right? Two guys, it makes all the sense in the world to book them, and they never made it happen forever and ever and ever. And then when they finally made it happen, yeah, it was the biggest thing ever, but everyone left disappointed. And no one really benefited from it afterwards, apart from two guys that made a shit ton of money and never really recovered in terms of their pop culture status, right? But one of the reasons for that is because of how Mayweather promotes. Mayweather is a guy that likes to promote things based on the here and now and impulse. When you actually think about the rationale of all of his fights, they don't really make a lot of sense to a boxing fan's appetite for good boxing matches or opponents that are actually going to give him any trouble. He's very, very good at cultivating short-term narratives that get you through the door before you even have a chance to think about whether or not you should part your money. It's just, oh, Mayweather's fighting a better one. Right. But that only works if you don't have any substance. This does. As much as you want to say it shouldn't happen now because it's past its sell-by date or whatever you want to put a spin on it, it's the one that got away. You can't talk to a single UK battle rap fan and say, what's the one battle that you never saw that you wish you had? And at some point in the conversation, they're going to roll their eyes and go, well, of course, you know, Lunar C versus Shotty, we never got that. It would have been nice to see, da-da-da-da-da. That's inherent in every battle rap fan in the UK. I don't want to hear an argument about that. Even me, and I don't care necessarily to see it, care enough to see it all that much to break my schedule. However, it's the one that got away. And it's not like, from a competitive standpoint, they're worse 10 years later. It isn't a physical issue here. If anything, both of them have had a chance to work on their styles, respectively, become better artists, better understanding as showmen, and how to present themselves on the stage, especially given the level of an opportunity that presents itself here. They're both going to understand going in what this presents. And this is one of my selling points here. Let me make the argument for you that this is not a retirement match for either one of these guys. Okay, I'm not saying that. I am saying, though, if you're going to bookmark and bookend a battle rap career on a note, going up against your most touted and requested opponent is not a bad way to do that for two reasons. Number one, does it matter all that much if you lose if you're going out anyway? For both of these guys, winning is crucial unless it's your last battle. At which point, all that matters is giving the best performance that you can and the most artistically creative and fucking fulfilling performance that you can. Hopefully, the most lucrative performance that you can possibly generate, so long as it's booked and marketed and promoted properly. Secondly, is there any better way to answer any critique that you've ever had against you in terms of your battle rap career? Especially fans, because look, UK battle rap fans can be really shitty sometimes, and I know that there's going to be some that will harbour some resentment to both of them for not putting up or shutting up about it. Because the thing is, neither one of them have just outright said, no, I'm not battling him. If either one of them had said that at any point, the conversation dies right there. It's like, oh no, I'm not battling him. That's it. In the same way that the conversation doesn't exist about Shotty battling Bobby Rex or Raptor and vice versa, because they've all said, well, I wouldn't battle him because he's my mate and we're in it together. It doesn't make any sense to us to do that. Plus, we're loyal to each other. Kills that conversation dead. You never have that conversation again. Lunar and Shotty have never ever made that statement about each other. And why? Because they're both smart enough to understand that it's probably for the best business-wise to keep that fucking lint alive. But the point I'm making is, it doesn't matter if you lose. If you're done, it doesn't harm your legacy. If anything, it enhances it, because finally you both have the name on your CV that everyone wanted to see all along. And thirdly, if it's your last one, you have every motivation and incentive to make sure this is your fucking magnum opus of a performance. There's no reason, especially if you've got a length of time and no other battles to focus on, and all you have in your back pocket is, I just need to put on the best performance I possibly can. I give the performance I want to give. You want to tell me that two competitors like Lunar C and Shotty Horroh, two guys that pride themselves on the artistic creations that they put forward in terms of their musical aspirations, in terms of what they've wanted to cultivate in their musical backlogs. Not only that, but also artistically, both of them have exhibited a lot of creativity. You want to tell me that neither one of those two can put on something that is truly transcendent in battle rap? That's from that perspective, by the way. The one perspective that I want to sell to the promotions, if this is the way to do it, is, can you think of a better way of getting over new talent than booking a 2-day card and headlining with Shotty Horroh and Lunar C, and using that as the baton for the next generation of truly headline talent? I'm not saying Quill and Gemini aren't successful. I'm not saying Bobby Rex isn't a huge star. I'm not saying Bizarre Bond isn't a recognized champion. I'm not saying that Soul could come back and Tony D is still putting in performances. However, I am saying, though, that in terms of outright popularity, no one touches Shotty and Lunar. No one. It doesn't exist. If they are going to do anything for anyone in battle rap at this point, it's to satiate as many different people with that performance as possible. And the way you do that has already kind of been masterminded by the plug. You have a pre-party on the Saturday and you have the event on the Sunday, or you do the pre-party on the Friday and you do it on the Saturday night, if that makes more sense. Whatever the 2-day period is. But you have the night before is, right, let's make sure that we have these guys' faces on a card that's associated with this battle. This battle is the be-all, end-all of UK Battle Rap What If. It's the one that no one really ever believed they would ever really get now. They're getting it. You cannot waste an iota of attention on that. Not one fucking iota of attention. And you maximize that by now showcasing someone like Gas Buff, who is known to hardcore battle rap fans all over the place. However, does he have a better opportunity of crossing over to lapsed fans than with two guys who not only draw in that hardcore crowd that we don't worry about so much in battle rap, but everyone in this fucking room that's lapsed right now that you're watching at Don't Flop's pinnacle that has since lapsed and doesn't follow it anymore. Are you ever going to get another opportunity to hook them back in for one more time to say, well, while you're here, check out some of this other stuff? And yeah, you can use the second day event to have some ridiculous matches as well. I'm not saying that you have Lunar and Shotty and that's it. I am not saying that. I am saying, though, that it makes all the sense in the world while you have every conceivable moment of someone's attention that has lapsed from battle rap over the last 10 years. Think about how many people have fallen off watching battle rap in 10 years. If they were fucking 15, 16 in 2006. Oh, sorry. Yeah. In 2016, I should say. Or my age. I think I was in... I think I would have been 25 at the time when I was watching that. Like, I'm 35 now, brother. Which means that all of these kids are 25 now. 25, 26, 27. They have developed different tastes. They have moved on to different vocations. But they still are going to hold a passion for this. David not wasting an opportunity. I'd even agree to a second battle to get on that card. And David, they'd be lucky to have you, my friend. McCoy, can you imagine a 2-day event and Shuffle versus Ilmac and Saurus headlines night 1? Look, of course, if you can get the logistics right of the undercard of that, the mid card of that, and headline the first night with something special to make sure that people who are there on day 1 are there on day 2 and vice versa, man, I genuinely think that's got to be it, right? But then on the flip side, this is where Quill chiming in the back of my fucking head. If he's not, I bet he's not even watching. I bet he just turned up and fucked off. Because that's what he does. Turns up, teabags everybody, including me, and fucks off again. And I said what I said. I take it back nothing. Come at me, Quill. I'll Muay Thai another beer out of your hand. I'm still really sorry about that, by the way. I owe Quill a beer. Do you know what? I elbowed him, knocked his beer out of his hands all over a fan, didn't even offer to buy him a refill. Like, what a cunt. Like, I really am a cunt sometimes. I'm sorry about that, Quill. But seriously, stay out of my goddamn business. I owe you a beer. Anyways, what was I saying? I've derailed myself by cutting a promo on Quill, which is ridiculous because I'm never battling, let alone someone like Quill. Could you imagine me battling Quill? Could you imagine how much of an unbelievable massacre that would be? They'd stop that after the first round and say, look, we can't continue. Lorne's crying and it's getting really awkward, so he can't spit his stuff. So Quill, you win, but let's just shuffle him out the back. Right, what the fuck was I saying? But yeah, anyways, but the flip side, this is what the detractors would say, okay? What happens if they book it and it shits the bed? What happens if, and this is where I do have serious concerns about the ability to be able to maximize this opportunity. Because look, I'm not being funny. I currently promote Don't Flop's fucking videos more than Don't Flop does. So you can't have Don't Flop involved if you want it to really gain any traction. Frankly, I'm just being completely honest and real with you now. Whenever I see a battle is advertised with Don't Flop, I'll look at my watch, and by the amount that the watch has eroded with the winds of time is how much time I know that there's going to be between another promotional aspect of Don't Flop. They are so bad at marketing their stuff. They're even terrible at updating their goddamn website with the shit. Premier Battles, on the other hand, I don't have that same concern with, but when you think about putting a battle like this together, do you have it on Premier Battles? Do fans trust that there's an impartiality there? Because with all due respect, that was a massive piece of narrative from Shuffle's perspective when he battled Shotty. And why a lot of people, even though I was in that fucking room and I've watched it again on YouTube, and I can confirm to you that Shuffle T won that battle, people are still saying Shotty won. What battle did you watch? Shuffle T won that fucking battle, mate. I'm sorry, but he did. He turned up and fucking killed it. And Shotty gave a good performance, but it wasn't on Shuffle's level. Does Lunar really want to run the risk of going into a situation like that? And not saying that they could be gunning for him, but even if it's just subconscious favoritism, getting 3-0'd by Shotty as potentially a retirement match. I don't think a competitor like Lunar would, even though I know he's not look, Lunar's not gunning for titles, he's not gunning for #1 guys or anything like that. I am just saying, interesting question. David chiming in with a great question. Does it have to be a judge battle? Does it have to be? I don't know. That's a good question. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. Does it matter to fans whether or not it's judged? I don't know. Sorry, I was just trying to unceremoniously just rewinding the pip because I've been talking for longer than I thought I was going to. It's a good question. Does it matter if battlers got an answer to that? If fans got a definitive answer of who wins, Lunar C or Shotty Horroh? Is it just a showcase event? Is it just what's the word they used? What is the word they used? God, what did they used to call it when it wasn't judged? It was a promo battle, right? Is that what they called it? A promo battle? But then again, does that... Because look, the reason Lunar and Shotty was touted is because it's like, who's the best? Like, who's the better of the two? Who is the best phenom? Like... Would it make it... That's a great question from David. I must be brutally honest. I hadn't considered that. That's a question for the chat, though. That's not for me. I must be honest. I don't care if battles are judged or not because I pick my own winners. Even if it's a promo battle, it's like, yeah, this is a promo battle. No one's judging. Yeah, but everyone's watching, dude. And everyone will have a favourite out of who performed there. Even if it's close, they'll have a favourite as to who they thought won. So judge it or not, the fans still walk away with a certain impression of a battle because they've got fucking eyes and ears. So I'm not denigrating David's question, by the way, because it's an interesting question to pose to the battle rap fans of the world. Is like, well, what have we said to the guys that's not judged? Does that make a difference? Does it get them in the conversation? I don't know. It's a damn interesting question, though. So anyways, that's the main reason why it probably shouldn't happen is because, well, if promotion-wise, whoever gets the battle, whoever secures the signature of both of them, can't promote it properly in the sense of managing that hype, but recontextualizing it into a modern-day context to make sure that people aren't just fucking, turning up to see two guys that are 10 years further down their respective creative careers than they were then. I mean, something, again, it's kind of a bit off tangent, but it gives me some context as to how they must feel. Lily Allen was doing one of her podcast segments on Shorts, and it cropped up in my feed, and she was talking about how she doesn't want to perform songs from her first album anymore. And the reason isn't because she doesn't think they're musically good or creatively fulfilling, it's that she doesn't resonate with those songs as a person anymore. She's 40-odd years old. She doesn't talk, act, or feel like a 17-year-old or a 20-year-old anymore. So she doesn't want to do that anymore. In the same, and I can relate to this. As much as I like doing YouTube, which is something I've been doing for nearly 10 years now, I don't want to do the same YouTube projects that I was doing when I was 26. I want to do something different. And if you said, well, no, you can go back to doing what you were doing in 2016 or whenever it was I started, I don't know how excited I'd be about that prospect. And both of them would be walking into a scenario where fans are looking for something very specific from both of them. Unless, again, you manage that. You showcase them correctly. You present them correctly to fans who are buying a ticket specifically because they either lapsed from 2016 to now or because they are only interested in seeing this one. It's a very delicate situation, but not one that I don't think couldn't be managed. I really do think that when you think of it through the prospect of saying to both of these guys, look, treat it as an artistic endeavor. Have 6 months. Have a fucking year to prep for this shit if you must. Let's make this a fucking... Okay, and I'll just say it. Let's cater to your egos a little bit. We're going to make you two for one night kings of of the UK. For one night only, this event is going to capture the minds and imagination of not only battle rap fans, music fans, comedians, stand-up artists, live performers, but damn near every lapsed battle rap fan from the last 10 years, as well as whatever comes from America, from Africa, from Germany, from some of the other battle rap hotspots of the world. For one night, you two will rule the fucking world, lads. You want to tell me that two guys as fueled by their respective creative egos as Shotty and Lunar aren't going to find that at least a little bit enticing, especially if they're the ones that have the creative helm on that? Like they've both said, they are not beholden to anyone and don't really want to be beholden to anyone. So it would have to be, everything I've just said would have to be under their purview. I don't think it would work if either one of them are being dictated to. Right, well, we're doing this promotional event here, we're touring it here, or you have to be on this. Can you imagine both of their fucking apathy towards having to do live face-offs on the internet? I can imagine both of them just kind of, if they were mandated to turning up and giving it the, yep, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully it's going to be a good battle for the fans. And yeah, it's just going to be good to battle him. And really looking forward to it. It would honk of apathy. You couldn't do it that way. It would have to be their idea in terms of, right, how do you make this the definitive build to a UK battle rap event? And how do you make this the definitive battle rap main event on any UK card that's ever been produced? It's not like you wouldn't have two guys that can't sell tickets and pique interest to make that endeavor worthwhile. And then again, let's just say for the sake of argument, you utilize Premier Battles in which to do this. You want to tell me that Stro, Briggsy, Trubs, and a lot of the guys behind the scenes aren't going to be fucking salivating at the prospect of booking and promoting that battle? That the creative minds behind that aren't going to have a fucking field day figuring out... Again, Gast is there behind the scenes too. Can you imagine Gast Buff being told, hey, listen, man, we're looking for ideas how to promote a battle. Okay, cool. What battle? Shotty Horroh versus Lunar C. Don't tell anyone. Gast Buff's head might explode with all the fucking ideas that are permeating out of it in that moment. Premier Battles is the ideally suited promotion for this, ideally, because I just feel like they do a better job of marketing themselves, promoting themselves, presenting themselves in a way that's really endearing to a lot of fans, and will be once they rediscover battle rap through Premier Battles and this battle. The minds behind it are diligent. They work their fucking asses off. Where you host it as well, I suppose that's a question for a lot of fans, because does it matter if it's north? Because look, Lunar C's Bradford, Shotty's Manchester. Are they both going to want to haul their asses to London? Well, it depends. Is a London crowd more lucrative? Is it more numerous? Or could you bridge the gap and have it on, quote, neutral soil through some other means? Or do you have it in Manchester? I don't know. But those are all questions that you would leave to them and say, listen, figure it out. Let us know what you want to do. There's just so many interesting combinations of what could happen if you put your mind to it. That's all. And yeah, could it happen? Look, I think, honestly and truthfully, neither one of them have the appetite for it. I don't think, number one, either one of them think the money's in it for either of them, relatively speaking, for their time, when compared to their other creative endeavors, especially when you level that with the amount of effort that goes into writing and performing a battle rap event. The stress of it as well. I know that both of them don't really come across as that guys that are affected by it, but I was really stricken by, and again, it's something I would have asked him if I'd have interviewed him. One of the things that Shotty said about his performance anxiety is not necessarily when he's on stage. When he's on stage, he feels fantastic. It's the aftermath where he feels like his fucking soul's left his body, and he feels like he breaks out into a degree of anxiety. and that post-stage stress, what he has to go through. He must know that that's coming. How does one deal with that? How does one deal with the idea of now you've booked the most anticipated battle rap event in UK battle rap history? What if you fail? What if something goes wrong? What if someone or something on the card ruins it, or whatever? Or what if you do it? Like, the come down from that must be absolutely insane. Like, you've reached, that is it. That is the pinnacle that battle rap is probably ever going to get in the UK, unless some young buck comes out of nowhere and takes everything by storm. Like, where do you go from there? And again, that's why I bring it back into this idea of you make sure that you don't. David said earlier, like, I'm trying to make it in a wrestling analogy. I disagree with that in the sense of WrestleMania is the end of the story. That's where all the roads lead to and end, and it's the next night on Raw that has to fucking pick up the pieces and go, how the fuck do we get people to tune in next year now? We've paid off everything. Nah, I very much see this as the Raw. In effect, everyone needs to tune into this because, again, like Raw, everyone tunes in to see, well, how the fuck are they going to put themselves out of this? You would use it as that springboard. How do we generate interest in the next generation of battlers, the established guys that just aren't hitting the numbers that some of these guys did? Or how do you start generating proper stars? You use the rub, man. It's really not any more complicated than that. Like, is it any real surprise that Cody Rhodes is getting all of the rub from guys like The Rock and Roman and Cena? Well, it's because, yeah, even though it is Cody Rhodes is still not the crossover star, I would argue. He's still massive in wrestling terms, of course. But is he crossover like Roman is? No. Like Cena is? No. Like The Rock is? No. Would he want to make that jump over? Yes. Would WWE, TKO, and Endeavor like him to make that jump over? Yes. You've got to endear him to a new audience then, and the way you do that is by using established people. And there are no two better established people in UK battle rap in terms of their overt, numerical, quantifiable popularity than Lunar C and Shotty Horroh. So my main reason for saying why it should happen is largely speaking from an unselfish perspective from both of them. I understand it's not something that is explicitly to their benefit, which is that they be doing something for every other battler on that card and any other battler that comes afterwards in terms of creating a buzz and a ripple effect that then permeates backwards through the card. But from a purely selfish perspective, like, I'm sorry, man, if speaking again selfishly, like, if someone offered me the opportunity in a battle rap context to conduct some kind of interview that I thought was really on another level, or some kind of role within battle rap that I looked at and I was like, wow, that's a step up for me, dude, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You do it because it's a creative endeavor. It's like, wow, I might never get the opportunity to do something like this ever again. I got to do it, if only because I got to do it. And that's the opportunity that's there if they take it on. But it's whether or not they see it. You've heard it from themselves directly. Like, that fan appetite is almost immaterial to both of them. It has to be something that speaks to both of them creatively, or from an ego perspective, or monetarily. Like, you just offer them so much money. It's like, guys, we'll pay you this, and they both go, okay. Like, not the best incentive, because of course I don't know how much monetary value you can attach to something creative and artistic, but like, there are ways, and it's about speaking to them and motivating them accordingly. But nevertheless, I feel like I've answered all 6 of my questions. Why it hasn't happened so far, I feel like we've covered that. When should it have happened? Like I said, I would argue 2015, 16, just before 2017 when the Great Schism occurred. Why it can't ever happen? Well, basically because neither one of them have the appetite for it and are kind of indifferent towards the fan apathies. Sorry, the fans' appetite for it. But why it could happen? Well, because neither one of them are retired yet. And both of them have expressed at least some interest in battling again. So why not the biggest opponent that you could possibly manage? The most lucrative opponent that you could possibly manage? And for the answer for both of them is each other. Creatively, though, again, I understand that there are battles that suit them better. That probably do some better. Again, look, Quill is the example with Shotty. I stand on fucking ceremony that Shotty should battle Quill or battle Gemini at some point. It feels only right. you know, but will it? That's, again, especially if presented then with those two or Lunar. Like, I feel like Lunar's the easier choice for him to make and the more lucrative choice for him to make, even though I would argue on fucking work rate alone, you want to tell me that a double champion and the former Don't Flop champion who got in your fucking face at your premiere event and generated more buzz from that 10 second of you two going fucking eye to eye and yelling at each other than almost anything else that year, you don't want to tell me that that's worth your time, at least in a battle rap context? And the same with Lunar, man. Like, Lunar, if you're only going to do 10 battles in your career and you've got one more on the docket potentially, why not make it the biggest one that you can possibly make it? Why not make it the magnum opus of your mum? Just open with 9 minutes of your mum jokes. Like, no one's going to be disappointed with that, dude. Or use that as the opportunity to sign off as you always wanted to. And I felt that at Checkpoint 5 with Lunar. I felt this overwhelming urge for him to break out a little bit and do some different stuff. And you could feel the fucking frustration from him when fans weren't catching it or weren't reacting in the same way that when he said something like, your mum squirts chicken and mushroom pot noodle. Like, I cringed at that like everyone else did because it's just, oh, what a voice. Sorry, what an image. But again, there's something in him that speaks to wanting to be more creatively fulfilled, more technically astute and recognized as such. And if they can both make an agreement to say, listen, we are both going to try and satiate the fans, but we're going to both try and creatively endear each other to the prospect, you could have something there. But why shouldn't it happen? Well, if Prem aren't the ones handling the promotion and it goes to Don't Flop or some other promotion and they fuck the build, or one of them shits the bed on the day, then the fucking Lunar Shotty battle that we get is the one where you go, oh man, I wish that hadn't happened. And that's fucking hell. Yeah, that's terrible. But why it should happen? Number one, guys, I will put this to you, and I'm speaking directly to Lunar and Shotty right now. Okay? Wouldn't it be nice to never have to field that question ever again? Wouldn't it be great in every battle rap interview or battle rap interaction that you have with fans, or even with Laps fans, or even fans of your music, where it's like, hey, listen, I really like your music. Also, I see you in battle rap. I see this other guy was really, really big. Are you ever going to battle him? You never have to deal with it again. You never have to hear those words ever again. You can fucking look, it happened. Go watch it and leave me alone. Imagine the peace and serenity you'll have in your lives knowing you don't ever have to field that question ever again. But secondly, it allows the promotion to build new stars that then endear them to the future, that hopefully builds a new generation of battle rap fans that not only benefit the current gen, but then go back and look through some of the battles of the past, that then want to get to know you more creatively as artists, who have lapsed since, who've now, that might find that same, look, they've grown up out of battle rap. That doesn't mean they've grown up out of the music that you produce. These might be people that want to buy tickets to your live events as musicians, that want to follow. Look, that some of them might have gotten into wrestling since Shotty. Maybe some of them will want to be pro wrestling, soft pro fans. Lunar, you know, there's so many different ways that could be monetized and progressed. It just seems like so many benefits for everybody if they could just get it over the line under the right circumstances. And I suppose the big question, because I'm the one sitting here asking all these fucking questions and rambling on, is do I think it will ever happen? Do I think it will ever happen? And I'll be honest, I have no inside knowledge on this. Me and Lunar have spoken off camera a couple of times. I've never once asked him, like, are you ever going to battle Shotty? Because again, I always felt like by asking that question, I'd be marking out a little bit. I'm only giving you my opinion. I don't think so. No. Not only do I think it's kind of passé at this point, because I don't have faith that it could be marketed and promoted and hyped correctly. I just don't see that either promotion's going to do. Even with Prem, I know that there'd be a passion for it, but like, would they be prepared to experiment with something like this? No, they probably will just... Yeah, they'll do a promotional trailer, they'll do a flyer, they'll repost it occasionally, they might do a face-off live on Trubs' channel. Shotty might do a stream on it, I suppose. I think they've got a podcast series now. I don't know. I've seen one on Prem, but while I was doing research for this on Shotty's channel, I noticed he's got a podcast now. So maybe that'll be mentioned a couple of times on there. Week of the event, they'll both retweet buy tickets. The event will happen, and that'll be that. Which, okay. But I think, again, that's what I think would happen if they agreed to it, which, again, I think they're both cognizant of, to be honest. I think they've both been through it enough to know this is the song and dance of it now. I don't think either one of them want to entertain it. So my answer is, will it ever happen? No. I don't think so. I think Shotty Horroh doesn't have much interest in doing it for a number of different reasons. And I think Lunar doesn't have much interest in doing it for a variety of reasons. I think both of them think there's something to it. Again, they both got fucking eyes and ears and they can see that there's an appetite for it. But enough to motivate them? No, I don't think so. And is that a shame? Yes, of course it is. If no other reason than if every one of my, I think I've got 600 and something, I think it's 698. I think I looked at the number this morning because that's where the 102 comes from, because I've got the 800 in my mind to get Quill back on. Just because I want to have an 800 subscriber special with Quill. And just have him on and just like, so I don't really have anything to talk about. I just wanted to make sure that you honored your fucking promises and came on the show. But if all 698 people DM me to say, hey, listen, I want you to do this, and I said no, what a dick. All your fans are asking you to do something, and they'll pay you for it. It's not like they're saying do it for free, you fucking cheapskates. It's like, no, every single one of them will pay premium rate for a ticket, and you can devise how you want to fucking structure that as much as you want to. And it's no, because I'm not interested. It's kind of amazing that they're in that position. Wouldn't all of us be so lucky to one day be able to say to our adoring fans no? Like, it's kind of incredible when you think about it. But nevertheless, like, I don't think it'll ever happen. No. Should it happen? Probably. Even with the lack of context of it being 10 years past when it probably would have been at its pinnacle, the best chance to really cross over into the zeitgeist of mainstream culture, let alone battle rap, worldwide or otherwise. I still think the amount of good it could do, the scene, the people in it, and them too, is enough to really warrant at least continuing the discussion. But that's just my opinion. And look, this is the heyday, the glory days of Don't Flop, and both of these guys as battlers, it was 10 years ago. Maybe there's something to be said about the fact that their hunger and desire has shifted. They're different people now. They both have different desires, aspirations. They are not satiated in the same way that they once were by this. And there's something to be respected about that too. So yeah, it's not as simple as Quill was saying, was like, it's a stupid conversation to have. No, it's actually quite nuanced in the sense of why, when, and how, because it isn't like an athlete coming back after 10 years. Both these guys are still perfectly capable of putting on the performance of a lifetime for both of them. But will it? I don't think so. So there you go. Anyways, I think I've said everything that I need to say. David's comment, I'm going to read off the last couple of comments just so we can sign off here and make sure everyone's cool. I'd buy a ticket just to see it. It's so big, it's almost like, to me at least, it doesn't matter who wins, it's the showcase. And yeah, I'm inclined to agree with David on that one because, yeah, it's something that battle rap in the UK probably needs for a lot of different reasons. But will it happen? I just don't see it. Again, I don't... There's too many factors at play that aren't overwhelmingly positive for the two guys that have to be for it to happen. And you've heard it from both of them that whenever been given an opportunity to really... Shotty seems to be the one out of the two that would have pushed for it the most back in the day. That coin is probably flipped now because Shotty probably has his interests outside of battle rap just generally as a promoter. Like, dude, he owns and operates Premier Battles and Soft Pro, notwithstanding the music career. Like, he probably makes more money from that. Like, why would he? What possible? Unless it's a creative endeavor. And say, look, I'll criticize Shotty whenever I need to, because I feel like I have to these days. One can't doubt his creative integrity. Like, he's an artist at the end of the day, and so is Lunar, and that's why ultimately I really do think that the interesting thing about this prospect is that both of them are going to come at it in such different ways. Even though I know that they've got similarities in terms of their skill sets, at least in their own eyes they do. I just think it's the most... Yeah, it's the biggest what if for a variety of very good reasons. But I also understand that from both of their perspectives, the fan in all of us saying that, asking for it, demanding it almost, it's almost like the opposite. It's like almost like, oh, you want me to do that? Well, I'm not going to give it to you. Like, both of them just seem to revel in the fact that it's like, you want to hold me to a standard? No. I have my own standards. I do what I want to do. Which is a shame. It is. Because I really do think, just imagine what you could do with that once you got that locked in. And you had the creative minds behind it, just throwing everything at that. You could do a lot. But, alas, that's just my 2 cents on the issue. And yeah, we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and I think I've answered all my own questions. We've had some cameos from some lovely, lovely guys. I'm going to recap who was here, just so I can say thank you for joining in. So, Charlie, thank you for joining me, sir. Appreciate it as always. Hadashrooms, loving you, DJ, my friend. Thank you for joining in. David, who is a battler. Don't forget, everybody. He's a legit battler. Quill, you son of a bitch. You'll be back. When I get 8 subscribers, then suddenly you got to go, when I said 800, I meant 800,000. Mark my words. I'm coming for your ears. McCoy, thank you, sir. I appreciate you chiming in. I know you've DM'd me, McCoy, and I apologise that I've not come. And I know I let you down. You did specifically tell me to put one of Bobby's rounds in, and I didn't. I'm really sorry. The best excuse I can give you is, dude, I did a 3.5 hour show on Bobby. I can't do longer than that. It's just not possible. I'm sorry. I have to cut content. I can't cover every round of every battle he ever did. Literally, it's like 8 hours worth of footage. I cut down to, I think, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So yeah, you got to cut me some slack, my brother. Cooper was in the house. Lovely man as well. Really nice guy. Love Cooper. He's one of the jolliest and nice battle rap guys. And yeah, that should be everyone. So listen, I hope this definitively answers the question. Shotty Horroh versus Lunar C. Will it ever happen? Nah. There you go. Just fast forward to the end and I've saved you an hour and a half of your time. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back on Saturday. It probably was the fact that I'm doing Lunar C's retrospective on Saturday. We'll be showcasing all 10 of Lunar C's battles. I've never said that about one of these retrospectives and probably never will again. But he's only done 10 battles. I have all 10 of them. So I shall clip them up so that we only have Lunar and Matter's rounds, I should say, because two of them actually are Lunar C and Matter. We'll be showcasing that on Saturday at 8 o'clock. So by all means, if you enjoyed some of my other retrospectives or you enjoyed this show, please, I implore you to join in then. Otherwise, I hope you're all keeping very well so far this week. I'm going to go play FIFA now and probably throw up because that protein shake that I mentioned at the beginning of the show really ain't agreeing with me all that much. So yeah, I'm going to go have fun doing that. But genuinely, thank you very much for tuning in. Quill, antagonizing me as always. I understand that for some people seeing this, it is that, oh God, why are we still talking about it? Really, I wanted to try and do a video that definitively answers the question. That's why. Because even though I know it's been talked about in broad strokes and it's been referenced in a number of different conversations and different layouts and formats and platforms, I've never really seen anyone tackle it. And I feel like we have today. I feel like I've given you some first-hand statements from everybody involved. I feel like I've given you plenty of context. I feel like I've tried to represent both sides of the argument as articulately as I can. And then just give you my honest opinion at the end. So hopefully now this serves as some kind of benchmark going forward. And by all means, argue with the points that I've made. Share it about. Showcase that I'm a fucking idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about. Or that, oh, actually, no, this guy's got some sense. And if it makes its way into the hands of either Lunar or Shotty, know that this comes from one place and one place only, which is I'm a battle rap fan. You two represent the pinnacle of battle rap at its most popular period in the UK variant of its history. I feel like there's a lot of good you could do with this battle, and all it would involve you both doing is essentially agreeing to be the best version of yourselves one time and then peacing out and calling that your legacies if that's what you want to do, because I feel like that's kind of what everyone wants, is to sign off on the highest of highs and stick the landing. How you guys do that at that point is entirely down to you. I have a million fucking suggestions, not that any of them are any fucking good. But my point is, that's just me. There are so many people within the echelons of battle rap in the UK right now that would have a million different ideas if they ever got the ball to run with that. It's hopefully something to think about. But listen, thank you very much for joining me on this edition of the Halcyon live stream. My name's been Lon Risley, host of the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm 2 away from 700 subscribers and 102 away from Quill having to come back. But more importantly, I'm 302 away from monetization. I'd really love to get to 1,000 subscribers at some stage in the future. That'd be fucking magnificent, because then that's making some money and putting it back into the show. I'll be at No Loose Chat in a couple of weeks, so I hope to see you then as well. There's still tickets available, I'm sure, in which case go and grab yourself a ticket to No Loose Chat. So come and see me there, but most importantly, go and see the people on the card. But before you do any of that, please take very good care of yourselves. Have a smashing rest of your week and even a more amazing weekend until I see you on Saturday at 8 p.m. for the Lunar C career retrospective. And I'll see you then on the next episode of the Halcyon Show.